Good evening, everyone. We will start in a moment. We will start in a moment.
बेबी
Hmm.
सॉक्स है क्या आपके पास एक और पेयर? भी उनके घर में जाएंगे, जूते उतारेंगे तो फटे हुए सॉक्स दिखेंगे. ठीक है.
Okay, let's start. So let's start. We'll start from where we ended last time. We learned about the basics of SQL. Learned about the select statement, how to select records from a given table. We also learned about how to use conditions, right, using where clause. So these are some of the things we learned last time. So today we will learn some extra features of SQL and how you can customize your query, how you can improve your query by using some of the other features of SQL, right? And as I told you that you can directly go to W3 School, practice the queries there, so you can learn the basics on that site. Of course, in the real world, things are not that basic. You have to learn the more complex queries, but you have to start from the basics. Only then you will be able to learn more advanced stuff. Okay. So yesterday we learned about select statement, where, and or, order by, right, sorting, all that thing we learned. So today we will learn something more interesting, right? Somewhat sophisticated, but more interesting. Okay, so the first thing we will learn is the like clause, right? Like clause is used when you are not 100% sure about the value you want to get, but you want some criteria. For example, you want all customers whose name starts with the letter A. Okay, now remember the customer table from yesterday. So we used a customer table which has got the customer ID, customer name, address, contact name, and so on. Imagine your manager asks you that, okay, I want all customers whose name starts with A. Okay, so how do I then get it, right? So there we can use this like clause, right? So we write select star from customers, that means we want all information, hence we give star. If you want only specific columns, then you can specify the columns you want there. So select star from customers where customer like, and then you just give A within the single quote, just start with A, then percentage. That means A, the name starts with A. Okay, so that's the point here. Okay, and let's run this. So here you get 4 names whose name starts with A, right? Here you see customer name Alfred, it starts with A. Similarly, Anna, it starts with A. Antonio, it starts with A, and around. So all 4 names starts with A, right? So you understand how you do it using like statement, just like, and then A percentage, means A and then whatever else, we don't care, but it has to start with A. Okay, now imagine you want something like B. Okay, so the name starting with B, I want all names starting with B. So how do, in quote, just B and then percentage. Alright, is it clear? Now run it. How many names? We have 7 names that starts with B. Here you see, right? It starts with B, again it is also B, again this is B, B as well, B, right? Similarly, you can just you can play around, right? For example, we can also see something like P. Okay, so are there names that starts with P? Yes, there are 4 names that starts with P. Here you see Paris, Persiles, Piccolo, Princica. So all 4 names starts with P. So that's the use of like statement. Okay, now imagine you want the last letter to be something. Okay, last letter of the word to be something. Then instead of the percentage sign to the right, you just put it to the left. Okay, so I want all names that whose last letter is A. Okay, so what I do is that instead of putting the A on this side, you just put it on the other side, on the right of the percentage sign. Okay, let's see. Yes. So there are 7 names where the last letter is A. See here, the first letter here, you see the first name, last letter is A. Even in the second, you have last letter A. Third also last letter A. Fourth also last letter A, right? Fifth last letter A. Sixth also last letter A. Seventh last letter. So all these names, the last letter is A, right? So if you want, right, so that's the way you need to see. If you want the last letter to be, let's say, Z, okay, so first use the percentage sign and then Z, okay, and let's run this. You don't have any name, so there is no results, right? So that means no names that has a last letter with J value, okay. But let's see, P, probably also not many. Yeah, I think 3 cases where you see the last letter of the name is P. Here you see the last letter is P, right? The last letter is P as well. The last letter is P here also, right? So that's the way you need to do that. So another interesting thing, right? So I just want to know the names where there is the word P must be there. I don't care whether it's first letter or second letter or third letter or fourth letter, I don't care, but the letter P must be there in the name. So in that case, what you want is that either to the left or to the right there may be P. I don't care what is in the left of P or the right of P, but I just want P. So in that case, just use percentage sign on both sides, because we don't now want first letter or last letter. We want, it could be any letter in the name, right? So in that case, percentage P percentage, right? So let us run this. So we have 28 names where you see at least one letter which is P here. And see here in the first name we have P, right? Here you see we have a P. Second letter also the last letter is P. Third we see the middle letter is P, right? So P can be anywhere in the name. It need not be the first or last letter, can be any name. Similarly, let us use something like X, okay? So X must be there in the name. Doesn't matter, first letter, second letter, third letter, 10th letter, last letter. It could just, that letter has to be there in the name of that customer. Nothing else we want, right? That means percentage X percentage, okay. And here you see there is just one name where you have the letter X, and here you see the letter X also, right? So that's there. Maybe we can also see something else. For example, C. I'm sure there will be many names with at least a word C. So you see there are 45 names where you see the word C being used at least once, right? There could be many times, but at least once C must be there. And you can also have that more than for more than letter, right? You can also see, okay, I want to know where you have both A, B, not just one letter but 2 letters here, like A, B, okay, something, okay. So I want to know where we have A and B, but it's not like A and B separated, but A and B combined, right? Okay, let me give an example. So A, N, B, and then A, B, Z. Okay, so if you use this statement, the second will be selected because A, B are combined, right? They're combined here, right? They're nearby each other. But A and B, although A and B both are there, but they are separated by N. N is in between A and B. So A, if you use this statement, the first one will not be selected because although both A and B are there in that word, but they are not combined. They are not close to or adjacent to each other. So when you use this adjacent A, B, then it has to be adjacent. A and B must be adjacent to each other, right? Otherwise it won't be selected. So let's see in the customer table, in the customer name, how many customers have names where they have A, B in their name, okay? And there are 5, right? When I run it, I see that there are 5 customers for who we see A, B is adjacent. Here I see A, B here, right? You can see here A, B. Here also second name you see A, B here, right? Fabrica. So A, B is there, right? AB is also there, right? Here also AB there. So that's about like statement, right? So you can have as many letter here as possible, right? It may not be just one letter or two letter, right? Depending on what you want, you can write down the so you can write down the query based on that. Okay, so that's the way you need to write the like statement. Then we will learn about wildcards. Wildcards are a very easy thing and sometimes very useful. Okay, so there are many wildcards actually. So percentage in this case is a wildcard. So percentage is known as a wildcard. That means we use percentage to extract query. Okay, sometimes we may also want wildcard like underscore. Okay, underscore means that particular letter is missing. Okay, so for example, we want customer from city. You remember all the columns yesterday? So in customer we also have a column called city, right? Underscore ON. That means you use this underscore when you do not remember just one particular letter but others. For example, London, we know London, but let's say I don't remember what's the first letter, right? I don't know whether it's L or P or S, so I don't know anything. So I want to select city where first letter I don't know. That's why I use underscore, and then I use the other letters because I know that, and it will select all London values basically, right? Here you see all London cases were selected, right? So it's as the it's not very useful this, because you can also do this with percentage, right? So for example, if you use percentage also, you can do it, right? So percentage gives you actually more flexibility. Here also you will get the same values. With percentage also you get the same values, right? But in percentage cases you have multiple letters, right? In underscore you just have one letter to choose, but I recommend you to use percentage more than underscore, right? That's more useful, right? And then in, we'll learn about in. So if you want multiple selections, then you use in, and I'll give an example here. Okay, so I want all customers who are in either UK or in either UK or Germany. Okay, UK or Germany. So let me first run all the entire data set. So select start from customers. So I have this column called country, right? So I will use the word country to select customers who are in the country UK, where country in, then use this bracket UK, and UK. So this is a string, so you need to use quote. Okay, or Germany. Okay, sorry, this bracket has to be outside. Select everything, select all the information from the table customers where country is either UK or Germany. That means in both this country I want. Okay, you can also have third country, right? It's not problem. For example, say India, right? I don't think there is any in customers in India, but let's say something like Belgium or Spain. Okay, so all customers from UK, Germany, Spain will now be selected. So here you see there are 23 customers, right? So you see Germany, Spain, UK, right? Germany, UK, Spain. So all customers either from Germany or from Spain or from UK, right? So you can use that for other things also. For example, I want so I hope you got in right, how the use of in, right? Or maybe let's say you use city. I want all customers in the city, either London or Berlin or Madrid. Okay, so I want all customers in these cities, right? You can also use more options, right? I've just used 3, but you can use more if you want. So I have, so in basically use when you want multiple, basically. If there is just one, for example, we want all customers from London, then we can also use where city equal to, right? Equal to will also do a favor, but equal to will not help if there are multiple selection criteria, right? Multiple options. So in that case we use in, right? So so if you run this, so now there are 10 customers from Berlin, from Madrid, you see, right? Berlin, London and Madrid, right? So that's the use of the in statement. The next we'll run is between. Okay, between means between two values, basically. Okay, between value 1 or value 2. Okay, so how can I learn? Okay, let's say so what is the, in our case, a numeric value, big base. This is more about numeric. Okay, so it's not less about non-numeric. Numeric means has to be number. So here you see at least our customer ID is a number, right? So we can use that. Customer ID between 10 and 25. That means I want all customers whose customer ID is between 10 and 15. It's very easy, right? In English language also we say between when we want something in between something, right? So that's as simple as that. So when you run this, you get all customers between 10 with customer ID between 10 and 25. Are you getting my point? You can also use less than equal to and greater than equal to, like we used last year. So that's also another way of doing it, right? So you can have multiple ways to do the same thing sometimes. The between is used here, right? So customer ID is 10 into 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 up to 25. So it starts with 10 and at 25, right? That means it's also including the extremes, right? It's not excluding 10 and 25, it's also including that. So that's between. So easy, right? And the next thing we will learn is alias. Alias are again very useful. It's simple actually. For example, I want customer name in this case for, okay, I want only customer names. Okay, customer name, but I want to give something else. Okay, I want to give it a different name in my output, right? Because what you are getting from your query is the output. In the output I want to give something different name, whatever name you want to give, right? For example, I want to give something like okay, customer name, customer name, only customer. Only customer. I don't want to use customer name. I simply use, or maybe just name. Okay, whatever you want to give. No, it's up to you. That means I'll tell you why this is used. Okay, let me first run this and I'll tell you then. So here you see that now it will not show customer. It will show you name, only name. Here you see only name, right? So the column name has now changed. So if you want to change your column name in the output, you can use alias. Alias means this as and then just give a name, whatever name you want to give. That means that column name will now be different. You can also do multiple, right? For example, customer ID as just ID. Okay, so you will now get only name and ID. Here you see name and ID, right? So name has changed, whatever you want to give. And you know why this is used? Because what happens normally is that many a times in the database where your customer details or information is stored, what happens is that you store in a name that is somewhat weird actually, somewhat different. And in the output, when you are making a report, you want to give a different name. So if you want to do that, you can simply use the as. Okay, if you use as and give a different name, then that name will be shown, right? If your manager wants a completely different name, you can simply use that as a name. All right, so that's basically, it's known as alias. Okay, but yeah, just using as to rename your basically, so it's not renaming the table by the, it's renaming the information column name in the output, not in the table. If you want to rename in the table itself, like permanent change, then you'll have to do a different thing, right? I will tell you about later maybe, but this is about information, right? So it's about, you are not changing anything in the table, but you are simply extracting the information, and while extracting the information you are changing the name. So it's a temporary change just for our information purpose, but the table name will be the same, right? Whatever it was before. Okay, then there is more complicated things known as the, okay, then I think a bit of about some summary statistics, minimum, maximum and all that. Okay, for example, this mathematical things, right? Bit of a mathematical thing. Average, you want to know what is the average customer ID. Okay, what you do is that you simply use okay, it's called AVG, I think. AVG, is it AVG? Let me, yeah, it's AVG, right? It is AVG. Okay, so AVG customer ID, average customer ID. It doesn't make sense to have average actually, but let's run this. Yeah, so basically what is the average customer ID? The average customer ID is 46. Okay, what is the minimum of it? Average, you know, right? So it's just a function, so it's basically minimum. So it's minimum and then bracket and then the numeric value. Average of a non-numeric, non-number does not make sense, right? Average of name does not make sense, right? But what makes sense is average of number. For example, average salary, average age, average height. So this numeric variable, number variable, you can take average, minimum, maximum, all that. So if you take minimum, it will give you the minimum of it. Minimum is 1, right? It starts with 1. What is the maximum? Just use maximum, max maximum. So it will then give you maximum. Okay, okay, I have not run it, so let me run it. So maximum is 91, right? So this is called function. Okay, in programming this is also called function. Many other areas where, you know, you provide a value, then it will return you something else, value, right? So you provided customer ID, so that's the information we gave, and then it calculated the maximum of that particular column, and it gave you as 91. So it is a function. There are many other functions like minimum, maximum, average, right? So many mathematical functions you can use to extract data from your system. Okay, so these are some of the things we also learned. And something called SQL top, that means you want to know only the top observation. Let's say for example there are 100,000 or 1 lakh observation, and only we want only top observation. Okay, only top 10 observation. Okay, so there are many ways in which you can do it. It depends on the database also, but in MySQL they use something called limit, right? And then you can use, for example, here in this case we want select star from customer table, select star, but we don't want all 91 observation, we only want the top 10 observation. Okay, then I give limit 10, that means I want only top 10 observation, so it will only show you top 10 observation. Okay, you can also do it different way. For example, where customer ID is less than 11, that is also going to give you the top 10, but you can also in this way also. If you want to know only the top observation from the table, just use the clause limit. That means it will limit only to the top 10 observations. Okay, so these are some of the things we learned, and I give you this assignment that you learn whatever we learned, right? We learned a lot of things from yesterday. You just take example and practice it. In the next class I will teach you how to join tables. So far we have been learning extracting data from a single table, but you can also extract data from multiple tables, more than one tables, right? So that is a bit more complex, and we will learn what is known as joining tables, right? So we'll learn that in next class. Whatever I have taught you in the last two classes, you can just practice them, and if you have questions you can always ask me and I will reply to you. But you can start practicing yourself. You can do that on your mobile phone also, you don't need a laptop for that. Just go to W3 School SQL, and go to the tab and keep on practicing. Okay, it's more like a human language, right? You are giving instruction to somebody, it's more like that. So if you keep doing that, you will be better and better at it, and this is very useful skill in the industry. So in order to get jobs, this is a very powerful skill. So make sure to learn it very well, so that your prospects for getting jobs in future will increase. And try to practice more and more, and try to play around with, right? Just ask yourself question, okay, what if I want that information, what if I that, how do I do that, right? So try, you can learn by learning and doing. So you can learn by learning and doing. Okay, so that you can do. Okay, so that's all for today. I will stop here, but if I have questions, you can always let me know later on. And then for tomorrow I'll give you some assignment, I'll send it to you. I'll give you some assignment, and then we'll learn about SQL joins tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow perhaps will be the last class on SQL, and after that I will take a test on Monday or maybe Tuesday on whatever I have taught you. Okay, so tomorrow will be the last class on SQL, then I'll go to something else. Okay, or maybe one more class, let's see, maybe on Monday I'll take one more class. We'll see. Okay, so thanks and good night to everyone.